If you have employees at your consignment store, there is a chance that you're holding on to one of them longer than you should. You know, it's like that bad boyfriend that you just didn't ever break up with. My name is Sarah Marshall, and I owned a consignment store for 8 years. In the last 2 years, I managed 10 employees. So I have hired and fired a lot of employees in my business career. I have now spent the last 4 years teaching over 400 consignment store owners how to increase sales and foot traffic using the systems that I used to do the same thing for me. So I went from making $10,000 a month to $40,000 a month consistently in a very small rural town of 6,000 people. And I did it with the help of 10 amazing employees, and I worked part-time. So if you want to know more about how to increase your sales and foot traffic, come join me. Today, we're going to talk about letting go of that one employee that might be sticking around for longer than they need to. You already know you've been thinking about letting them go. You need to find a replacement, but here are the intrusive thoughts that keep happening. It's like, how am I going to replace them? Am I going to have to pick up their workload? They've been here for so long, or I know they've just been going through a rough patch lately. Maybe this is a short-term thing. Their attitude seems to be slipping, but I know, XYZ. And we just put in all of these excuses as to why we can't or don't want to let them go. It's kind of like that boyfriend that you once had. If you're in this situation, you probably have done this another time in your life, and it was probably with a boyfriend that just you let stick around for way longer than you think. So you kind of let them run all over you, or you knew that it wasn't going to work out long term, but we just don't want the conflict, right? So I'm going to talk you through in this video how to make that tough call. I definitely know that it's hard, but your business will be happier because of it, and you and your employees will also be happier. The environment lifts and everything will just completely shift, and your store doesn't have to skip a beat. Okay, so by now you probably already know if this is you, but I just want to give you this quick encouragement before we get really started with these kind of how-to steps, is that I want to empower you to make the decision. You don't have to wait until the next time that they do something wrong. You already know. You in your gut feeling, you already know that they're not right for your store. You've probably thought about firing them many, many times, and there's never been the right moment, or you haven't been prepared to deal with the consequences of them not being there anymore. Or maybe the personal or emotional consequences that might come from it. I want to encourage you to stop waiting. Prolonging the inevitable is not helping anybody. It's exactly like that bad boyfriend we've been talking about. It only tears the relationship while simultaneously building it and holding it together. The longer that we are together, the harder that it's going to be to tear apart and break from that relationship. So stop waiting. If you already know in your gut that this is what you need to do, then I'm going to say, don't wait anymore. I want to give you the confidence to move forward, make the right decision that's best for your business, okay? You can do it. Let's get into more of the direct how do we do this. So now that you know, and now that you have the confidence and you're not going to wait any longer, what we really want to do is we want to fire not from emotion and not from our opinion, which can be misconstrued. We want to fire from a system. If you've been following me for any amount of time now, I probably say the word system in every single video that I make. And it's also in all of my training. It's weaved in and out of everything, because a business with really great systems is successful. So we're going to talk about the system of firing an employee. I really enjoyed using our 3-strike policy, 3 strikes and you're out. It's not for everybody, but I'm going to tell you what we did and how it worked very well for us. So I had a specific form that was in their individual employee folder. And we had a 3-strike policy that was laid out in our employee manual. So the policy was defined in different ways. Basically, it was a set of rules that if they broke them, and it of course had descriptors in, clauses or how they break them, right? So there was all kind of things that went with this. And if they broke the rules, then this would equal a strike. Or if they did this behavior or did this act or they were more than 10 minutes late without notice. I'll just give you a real example off the top of my tongue. Then they would get a strike. And our strike policy stated that you could not get more than 3 strikes within the month or you would be let go. And our strike policy renewed at the top of every month. So this really encouraged some of my people. So we'll just use that, late from, longer than 10 minutes, you are late and you didn't give any notice. Let's just roll with that. So I actually did have an employee that really struggled with this. And after she received 2 strikes in the same month, she was on her toes for the rest of the month. And I knew that the next month, there would probably be a couple times that she was late, but I only had to deal with that twice in the month. And when I did not have the strike policy, it was more often. Now, you can start with a strike policy that works for your store that are maybe issues that you already know are prevalent and that you deal with, and you can build it from there. You are the owner. And so if you start having problems and issues that occur, you can simply add it to your employee manual and just have everybody re-sign for the new policies. There is no problem with that. You don't have to start with something super extensive. Think about the 3 top things that your employees are pet peeves of yours, or maybe are already issues that you would like to correct, and put those in your employee manual and create this 3-strike policy around that. So once you have a system in place, we used the 3-strike policy in order to let people go and fire people. And I absolutely fired people from this 3-strike system. So it wasn't my opinion on when I've had enough. So there was no dispute. Every time that they got a strike, we had a short meeting about it. And on this piece of paper, I would sign for their strike. They would also sign for their strike. Our conversation would be noted, and any questions that they had would also be notated. And then we would both sign for it. So we knew exactly where the standing of any employee that we had in our business at any time was. And as soon as they got that 3rd strike, we would have the same meeting, and they already knew the policy. So then they were let go. So we would ask for their key back, any other belongings that belonged to the business, and they were no longer on the schedule. This really cut down on the personal conversations and personal feelings. It was no longer personal. It was a system. And, we can have emotions connected around that, but we can still have boundaries. And it's okay to have boundaries when you're a small business owner or any business owner, because you're protecting the financial piece of your business. Employees who aren't producing at the maximum level are not helping your bottom line at all. Something that I don't want you to be fearful of is how your other team members might react to an employee being fired. So if you're not firing from this emotional standpoint, but you're firing from a system, then it automatically, without you saying anything at all, it automatically challenges the other team members to straighten up a little bit and follow the system, follow the handbook, follow the rules and guidelines laid out under their employment contract. So we have every employee sign that contract before they start working with us. And so we can hold them accountable to that and what's laid out in that handbook. And so there's no fear necessarily. We don't have to fear what our team will think about this if we are open with them and they know that we were being fair to the system. All we're doing is holding them to the expectations that are clearly written out and that they have agreed to. Now, here's something that we really like to do when a team member had been with us for a long time and was let go. We gathered together and held a team meeting. And first, we would be just very vulnerable with our team. So it would look something like this, like, hey, I realize that the elephant in the room is probably because so-and-so has been let go or she has left. And I know that she meant a lot to you. Many of you have personal relationships with her, and I want those to continue. I am not discouraging y'all from having a relationship at all. She's just no longer working within the business, and we wish her the very best of luck. There are no bad feelings or harm or malintent here. So I want you to have full confidence in your job. Your job is not at risk. And so if you have any questions, I am an open book and I would be happy to talk to you about them. And then that's where you start, is from this place of, I want you to feel secure in your job. She was let go, and we don't have to say, why. She's just no longer working at this business, and you're welcome to still have relationship with this person. And so we're just coming from this personal level because we don't ever want to disclose what happened. And that's not our job to do that. But we do want our team to feel very comfortable that their job is not at stake, right? They know the system, they know the policies, and they're probably semi-aware of what has happened. And so it will make them tighten up and it will make them be on their toes, which is really not a bad thing. It reminds them that, oh, she means business. She's the boss and she means it, and she will abide by her boundaries, which is always a great thing when we're talking about employees. So don't be scared there. Just sit down in front of your team and really have a great conversation. And here's what we would say next. We would tell them what the plan was moving forward, because initially, they just want to know what's happening and what's going on, and they're probably curious and they might want a little bit of the gossip. Now, we're not going to give them that, but we're going to bypass that feeling by just getting on their level and being vulnerable with them. And then we want to move right into what's the plan, because that is their secondary thought or fear. Am I going to have to make up for this extra workload? Is this employee who is now missing going to affect me and my job and what I'm going to have to do on a daily basis? So we want to have this plan and go ahead and lay it out for them in this meeting so that they leave feeling confident and secure about their job, and knowing that we're not going to ask them to do more than we asked them to do when they originally got hired. If for some reason you are not able to yourself assume the workload of the person that you are firing, and you will have to rely on other team members to make up the workload, I would suggest having a personal conversation with them before this meeting occurs, so that when you're in the meeting, you can say, now I have talked to Sally Sue individually, and she is going to be helping me make up the workload of employee XYZ who just left. So we have this plan of taking on her workload, sharing it between the two of us, and then we will be hiring and training over the next 2 months, and we're just going to lay out a plan. That's all we're going to do. They don't necessarily need to know every single detail. They just need to know you've thought this out and you've considered their time, their feelings, and now they feel secure and they know what is going to happen moving forward. And this is how we continue to retain the good team members that we don't want to leave. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that you might make at this very point is you might be panicking. So even before you fire this employee, you might be thinking in panic mode, I need to hire fast because I need now somebody to do this work of this individual who's been with us for years, or I need, we get in this panic mode. So I want you to breathe for a second and know that it's going to be okay. Hiring and training is a long process, and it's super important for your business, okay? So we always say, the coin term in this is hire slow, fire fast. Say it with me. Hire slow, real slow, fire fast. You've probably heard that phrase before, but it is really true. So this is what we want to do. We want to get to know somebody slowly. We really want to be looking for personality traits. We want to know, are they friendly? Are they a doer? Are they going to be an action taker? And if they are, then we can probably train them to do just about anything. And so when we've actually officially hired them, we'll figure out if we can train them very fast. And if we can't, then we fire them really fast. So all you're looking for in that hiring process is personality traits. Do I want to work with this person? Do I think this person is going to be friendly and provide great customer service? And are they an action taker? And if all of those things check out, then we can hire them. But here is my process for hiring slow. We want to, as soon as they put in an application, call them as soon as possible. And I'm talking about with no no questions, no preconceived notion of anything happening. We just want to give them a quick call, have a 5-10 minute conversation with them. Casual, super casual. We're just trying to get to know them. Then maybe we bring them in for an actual interview. And again, it's not like we're training here. It's not like we're having any kind of conversation really about this job or work in general. We are really getting to know somebody. Then at that point, I will probably bring them in for a working interview, where again, I am not going to train them to do a single thing. I want them to hang out with us in the environment that they will be working in, and I want to see what they do. Specifically, I want to see if they're friendly and if they're an action taker. Are they a doer? And I want those things, those two things to check out. I want to know, do I like this person enough to hire them and work with them? Do I think that they're going to fit with the atmosphere of this team and our culture and our personalities? That makes a huge difference. So we're gonna hire super slow. And then as soon as we know that we've got the ick, okay, you know, if you know, you know, and it's not working out, the training isn't going well, or there's something that just you're never gonna be able to live with, you fire them real fast. And you don't think twice about it because you know how to do that. The longer that we keep this employee who we know we need to let go in place, all it does is send this message to our team, to our shoppers, to our consignors, that we have this low standard, that mediocrity is okay. And that's not what we want. We want to elevate our business, and we want to have these high standards, and we want to surround ourselves and surround our customers and our shoppers and our consignors with people who are friendly, who can put on the face, who can follow the rules. And those are the people that we want serving and protecting our business. You don't have to wait for them to make one more mistake. You don't. Your business deserves so much more. So I really hope that this encouraged you. If you want more tips and tricks on employees specifically inside of Four Corners University, which is my consignment membership, I have an entire series. It's a 5-day series on employees top to bottom. Hiring, applications, manuals, editable documents that you can plug and play, how to train, how to retain them. I mean, the entire gauntlet. So if this one little piece really landed with you, come in and get the full thing top to bottom, along with everything else that's in the membership. Everything, that inventory systems and marketing and pricing systems, everything that you need to run your consignment store. My name is Sarah Marshall, your consignment coach, and I'll see you in the next video.